Does this look familiar? That feeling of constant tiredness, the struggle to get out of bed every day. No real pleasure in anything you do, no motivation to see your friends or eat or even have fun. I think this is becoming more and more common in our society. But what if I told you these weren't just the symptoms of fatigue, but something much deeper, something that goes to the core of our modern lifestyles and psychology? In psychology, there's this term called anhedonia. It's not a specific condition, but more a symptom of a lifestyle. Literally, it refers to a lack of pleasure, but maybe counterintuitively, it comes about because of too much pleasure in our lives. You might have heard of this neurotransmitter, dopamine. Now, not to get too sciencey, but when our brains get a lot of stimulation from the outside, they really turn down that internal dopamine production. You've probably experienced that yourself. The stuff that used to be fun, like eating great food or playing video games with your friends, just sort of seems normal now. That's because instead of giving you pleasure like it used to, now you need it just to get back to your baseline. To go back to the energy thing, one of the biggest symptoms of anhedonia is exactly that. A lack of energy. You see, dopamine isn't actually the pleasure chemical. It's the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation, and when your brain is dopamine depleted, you feel almost no motivation to do anything. Kind of feels like a lack of energy, doesn't it? So that got me thinking. Running with that idea, what things can we start to do to bring that energy back? Rebalance our brains. I think it would be more useful to think of energy as barriers. Having more energy isn't about what else you can input, more coffees or exercise or hours of sleep. It's about what you need to remove to bring that energy back. To put it simply, this comes down to removing excess pleasure. That sounds horrible, like I'm telling you to get rid of everything you love in your life, but if you can follow through with this, you'll actually start to enjoy those things again. The Stoics had this interesting idea called self-denial, which I think fits perfectly here. The clue's kind of in the name, but it was about delaying instant gratification to get long-term happiness. So, how do we put that into practice? First, I think it'd be useful to see what we're working with here. So, get out a pen and paper and write down a list of everything you input into your life. I think the best question to ask yourself here is, what things make me unhappy? Try and be really specific. How many hours of social media a day? What kind of food? How many hours of video games? These are your energy barriers. Now, once you've established that, start to set out some ground rules for yourself. The stricter you can be, the better. Set a target for each bad habit, whether it be amount of times a week or hours in a day. For example, only allowing yourself to eat junk food on a Friday, or only letting yourself on social media between 5 and 6 p.m. Then there are some practical steps we can take. I think it wouldn't be wrong to say that a lot of us are tired because of work, so how can we help that? I think it comes down to leaving work at the door. Create a proper shutdown procedure you can go through when you get home from work every day. Things like writing down any last work thoughts, meditating 5 minutes, clearing your head with a run or a walk. The things that you know truly relax you. Then, however dumb it sounds, a lot of your problems are due to poor sleep, so implement some proper sleep hygiene. No screens an hour before bed, or if you have to, using a red light filter, meditation before sleep, and finally, you can implement different strategies to fall asleep faster. One I use is called the military method, where you go through every muscle in your body, top to bottom, flexing it and relaxing it, then focusing on your breath till you fall asleep. Then, if you suffer from a wandering mind, repeating mantras at night like fall asleep sounds stupid but work really well. A lot of that might sound pretty horrible, and I'm gonna be honest, it kind of is. Removing a lot of that easy pleasure from your life seems daunting now because it's the crutch you're relying on to feel normal. The first week will be hard. You'll sit there with Netflix screaming at you and the fridge begging you to eat junk, but after a while you'll start to see the light. Your energy will come back, but more importantly, so will your life. On the odd hour you play video games or watch your favourite show, you'll actually get real joy from them. Eating good food will be worth it again. Hanging out with friends won't seem like a chore. You just need to get through those first couple of weeks. Manifest excellence, brother. I'm proud of you. I think now would be a good time to announce the School of Life, a community that we're starting inside of this channel to fast track your self-improvement journey. It costs $10 a month, but for that you get access to 2 group calls every week where we sort of just shoot the shit, talk about some interesting stuff, and you get 1 weekly lecture on a more in-depth self-improvement topic. So, for example, fitness, psychology, these kinds of things. We're also starting a book club in there. This month's book is Meditations, so if you want to read that with us and chat about it at the end of the month, join. Anyway, I hope to see you in the group, brother. Manifest excellence. Goodbye.